Well, I'm doing something I've needed to do for an incredibly long time. This is a disaster. Along with this, also a disaster. And let's step into it. Disaster, huh? Not super proud of it. In case you're new to the channel, I'll give you an update. This is supposed to be the chainsaw side of the barn. Kind of lost that. This is the welding corner. The welder kind of gives it away, but the rest doesn't. And this is kind of the mechanic section. I know, pretty impressive, honestly. My biggest problem is I will build something for storage for what I had at that time. Works really well. Then I pick up a new project that requires a new tool that I end up buying. And then the new project comes with new parts, and I got to take the old parts off, but some of those old parts I want to save, and I don't have a place to store it. And I put those on shelves where there's an open spot because I pulled an old tool off that I needed for a job. And I ended up just with a big mess. I never plan enough into the future for things I'm going to have. But today we're going to try to address that. And I'm trying to do it for under 200 bucks. That's kind of my budget on this. As much as a priority as organization should be for me, budget-wise, it's pretty low on the list. To do that, I tried out this fancy thing. Have you guys heard about this? It's been all over TikTok. I've been seeing people get stuff. It's called Temu.com, and you get stuff for dirt cheap. So I spent some money there, and then I got a little bit of other things laying around. We're gonna try to get this going. I suppose step one is let's just see what's in here. I got some concrete loaded up for some work here on the old Fubaru. Couldn't find my knife, imagine that, but we'll just use this old Sawzall blade. That seems like the best option. Didn't work at all, but that's okay. All right. Well, this is supposed to be one of those shelves you can hang like impacts and cordless tools on. Let me see if I got one of these rigs like that. Comes with hardware, does it? It does. I also got several of these bags. Because there's just some stuff that doesn't come in tool sets but stays together or needs to stay together. Like electrical testing stuff, things like that you're always using at the same time. Instead of it all getting spread out over different jobs, just try to keep it in one pouch. Another little tool bag, fantastic. Love it. Another little bag, perfect. Get old-fashioned hose straps with some clips. Got an idea for those, I think it's gonna be fun. Some more hose straps. And these are probably gonna be my hooks. These fellas here that you see all the time in people's garages. All right, okay, let's get going. So that one rack will work for my impacts and drills, but I want to use those hooks, like my SDS, my Sawzall. I want it to hang straight on there, which means the hook can't be straight. So I gotta kind of hang it. Huh? Fancy. These things have lived on the floor for years. Look at that. Now that's nice. I'm gonna do this rack next, right there. I don't have anything else that's long, and I'm racking my brain and thinking what else I might get that's long. And if I get something, well, we can always move stuff around, I suppose. And then the impact. And my corded drill. No, that wouldn't work. My cordless drill. That's perfect. Well, I'm happy about that. The one thing I always struggle with what to do is you end up with all these miscellaneous assorted cases with tools and stuff you bought for the one job and you'll probably never use it again, but we're definitely not getting rid of it, right? I think the simplest way is honestly, I just need to put a shelf all the way across the top of this, deep enough that we can put all these assorted boxes up there like that. That way I can see them, they're not buried, and they're not taking up a bunch of space in one of my drawers. I'm gonna try this craze called measuring. I've seen people do it. Not the biggest fan of it myself. I don't even have those Crocs locked in, man. We're just running wild right now. Love it. Let's see how the measure once works. I think we're all surprised that didn't work at all. I know I am. Can't afford the board stretcher like me. I just make my blocks bigger, you know? Be fine. It'll be fine. You know, something I could do every so often is just put a little vertical one, you know? Just a little bit of separation along the way. That way if they do fall, they just like that instead of all the way down and the stuff doesn't come all the way up. I don't think that's the worst idea I've ever had. Where's, now hold on. There it is. As we straighten up, we'll find more and we'll start getting that shelf loaded up. You know what else I have? Just a bunch of random stuff. Now I got some random stuff holders. These are cheap, inexpensive. Some assembly, hold on, required. Let's see, they can go up on the shelf and I can write things like, hold on, ready for this? Oh, tire tools, or stuff is what I labeled it. I got valve stems, I got valve stem caps over at the house that just came in. I got tire tubes laying around here somewhere, not tubes, tire plugs laying around here somewhere, valve stem tool, everything I need to work on a flat tire, it's going in this box. And that box, it's going right there. What's in that box, Mike? It's tire stuff. Tire compounds, plugs, and more plug tools. Filling up fast. I'm gonna put the backup camera in one. This is just a 12-volt backup camera I bought, and it's just got a magnet on the camera. So if I'm using it on something like the wood processor from CNC Equipment, or if I want to put it on the back of the tractor and slap this up in front of me while I'm bush hogging so I don't have to look behind me as much, or anytime I just kind of need an extra set of eyes, it was inexpensive and it comes in handy. I'm gonna use one of my Vever bags to put it in to keep it from getting all dirty and dusty and stuff. You know, looky there, she fits in there great. Stored. Lawnmower ignition parts, a random starter I have that they didn't want to return, sanding stuff, some toppling pins, some pencils. We're getting it all in there. In this little bag from Temu, I'm gonna put the multimeter, some random test leads with the alligator clips because they come in handy, and my test light. Put that all in one little bag. It's all together, and I got an electrical thing. I can just grab it and go. So I got some pullers. They take up a lot of space in the drawer. They're just kind of awkward. And I was hoping I'd be able to take these clips and just hang them up on that wall back there, get them out of the drawer. I mean, I don't see why that won't work. Just hang up there out of the way. These aren't the fanciest. This was a cheap set off Amazon. You see, the thing is, I'm not a full-time mechanic or anything like that. I just got some stuff I have to fix every now and then. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but it's out of the drawer and out of the way, and now I got a place to put my 3/4. Works for me. So it's not perfect, but it's definitely a huge improvement, and I've still got 4 of these hooks left to figure out how I want to put them up here and what other tools I want to put up there with it. Or I might just leave that open and order another one of these for some future tools as well. But I like this system. That makes me happy. And I think I got enough room to slide my, oh yes. All right, let's make this a little better. I think the key for this is gonna be another shelf that goes from here across, kind of like right there. Now that's something there. Well, I don't hate it. Let's put some screws in it. Tape measure situation is really going downhill. Let's see, oh yeah, we can do that. Sure, my sawhorses are a little heavy, but boy, does it hold up well. Somewhere in there ought to work. Don't forget to set your depth appropriately. That looks right. This grinder guard sitting there. We got a place for that. Grinder handles and guards. Perfect. Beautiful. Lovely oak shelving. It's custom, man. It's nice. Rods are gonna go up here. They stick out like that. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Let's turn that right side up so I can actually read it easier. All right, then I'm gonna do a couple of those boxes. Let me show you what I put in them. So here's the final work of art for you. So this and the chop saw, when I use these, they go outside. I do all my actual work outside. This is just to store stuff. This hole is for that little Vever welder. And then I got all the accessories that went with it. This is stuff I bought that never used on the projects I bought them for. And I just want a good place that I can keep stuff like that organized so I know I have it. That way if I start another project, I can kind of take stock of what I have before I go buying stuff. This is a measure mark box. This helps me too, same concept, Helps me know that I'm about out of soapstone, so I need to order some more and some paint pens. I got a couple tape measures, speed square, little cheap torpedo level. Room for improvement on things to put in that box. I'm open to your suggestions if you're a fabricator for sure, because I'm not. You guys know it. We're not a welder, we just own one. And then I got this box to store my flux core in because it just fits perfectly. So I can get a few rolls in there. And then my rods here, and these are just adapters for this, depending on what I want to run off of it. But we're definitely making progress. And in case you missed the fine craftsmanship moment where I used this to pound that shelf in without a handle, it got me thinking I could use the rest of those hooks I got from Temu to hang my hammers. I got a couple smaller hammers. A lot of this stuff is up with me on that church job in case I need it for repairs. But when it all comes back, I've got 3 hammers that I use whenever I do fabricating. I need a place to hang those. I don't know. Hang them down here, or maybe one big lag bolt through there. I don't know. But I need to find a place to hang those hammers. And that hook, well, that hook right there will just treat a fella perfect for hanging some hammers. I still have these 2 bags from Temu as well to put some things in. But I got to figure out what kits I want to set up. For the price, they honestly, they feel pretty decent. They look pretty decent. We'll try them out. We'll put something in there. This area is a lot better. Most of everything so around that shelf was sitting on this bench, and now I've got room. I ordered we're going to be doing surgery on this saw soon because we're adding a decompression valve to put on the 55, which I know seems unnecessary, but considering I keep breaking the recoil starter and strings, I feel like it might be necessary. Anywho, now I've got the room. One last thing I want to do is another storage option, an issue I have. I've got this plate, so there's this lip. See that lip right there? It's got the same thing on the other side. I've got this old tie-down strap laying around. It's going to clip in there, and we're just going to screw that to the board, and that should lock those in place for me. All right, I get a couple more. So a huge issue I have is storing any kind of vertical scrap when I'm done with it. I want something to kind of help stand some vertical scrap up right here. Now, that's shorter than the box, but I can still actually see down in there, and it's not laying in here on the floor, and it's not laying outside getting all rusted up on me. I've got a bunch of rebar that's just kind of laying everywhere, all over the place. Here's the final for what we got done this round of barn organization for making space for new tools. I love the cardboard organization. And here's the thing, I just put the spare fiberglass stuff in there. If I use that up, this is like 36 cents. I'll pitch it and I'll just I'll throw something else in there. That's what I love about that. As far as the stuff from Temu, these little hanger brackets seems to do the job just fine. I don't have any complaints about it. These hanger brackets seem to do fine. Everything looks good on that. Definitely a little bit better organized. Loving this. The biggest thing to staying organized, what I've learned in my short lifetime, is you got to put your stuff away. But if you don't have a place to put it, it makes it harder to put away. So now that stuff actually has a home, it makes it that much easier for me to pick up at the end of the day, and certainly makes the process of actually doing things quite a bit quicker as well. And this little fix over here, this is great. If I need something, what do I need? Let me just sort through the store. Perfect. Huh? Fella, can't complain about that. Is this perfect? Is it the end result of how I envisioned this whole thing when it's all said and done? No, not even in the slightest. But is it progress? Yeah, and I can't complain about that. Sometimes a fella just has to take a little bit of time and clean up and get organized so it's easier to clean up in the future. Having the place to put it when I'm done at the end of the day. That's the key. Most of this stuff that's up there, it didn't have a home, so it just lived on the floor or lived on the workbench. I'm hoping now that they actually have homes, they'll get put there more frequently. Of course, that's up to me, so it just kind of depends the mood I'm in that day. Hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll put a link to Temu in the description. You can check it out. It doesn't seem terrible. I mean, the whole thing to Temu is it's just cheap stuff. So it's price point, price point, price point. We've talked about that in the past, but seems to do the trick. I'll probably get on there and see if there's anything else I can't use to help organize this. Like maybe they got like a miniature bolt bin. I got a bunch of miscellaneous hardware. Who really knows? Not me. Maybe you guys don't either. But if you want to check it out, you might be able to teach yourself something. Yep, that's all I had. I thought I had a thought after that, but it's just gone.